pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilwoman Noack.
Here.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Here.
Councilman Lohman.
Here. Okay, we will begin this afternoon with site plan, and we have 6 site plans, and we have our planning staff here. Mr. Hans.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and members of the Town Board. As you said, we have 6 applications that Liam and I are going to split for the board to consider acting as the Board of Site Plan Review. The first application is up on the screen. It's commonly known as the Jiswali property. This site plan is for no future use. It's just for the site remediation in accordance with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Order on Consent. It's roughly 36.5 acres. And this is going to be for the cleanup of known buried materials that include construction and demolition debris from concrete, asphalt, drywall, roofing shingles, tiles, trees, and leaves. There's also a capped landfill on the property, which is up in the northeast portion of the site. That's not to be touched. All inspections and site remediation will be monitored by DEC. Also, there's truck routes as mandated by DEC. They will be exiting the property. All traffic will be directed right, south on Lawrence Road, and then south, and then another right along Old Northport Road, directing them to Indian Head Road. That's important, as no truck traffic's to go through any residential streets, Plymouth Boulevard, or north on Lawrence. This is the site plan that was prepared by P.W. Grosser. Some drone photographs taken earlier, actually taken yesterday, looking northeast, looking southwest, and that's it. Does the board have any questions on this? This has been a long time in coming.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Guys, good work on that. Be a good parcel to clean up. Thank you very much.
Okay. The next application for the board's consideration is 60 Motor Parkway. This is in the industrial park. This entails the demolition of an existing 44,900 square foot industrial building with the construction of a new 97,558 square foot industrial building. Prior to 2009, it was known as the Sims Department Store. Since then, it's been, I believe, an attorney's office. But this will be a demolition. They went to the Board of Zoning Appeals, recommending approval with 6 conditions. Most of them are standard. One of the conditions that they get a highway work permit is Motor Parkway is a county road. You can see the subject site up on the screen. We have Heatherwood office directly adjacent to it on the west side, and there's an adult entertainment use as well as the Bowling Market to the east. This is the site plan. As I said, it went to the Board of Zoning Appeals. All the variances were granted. Applicant has agreed to the conditions. I guess other note is this is Link Logistics. This is their third site plan in the industrial park that has been approved in the past 3 months or brought to the board. Board have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to Liam for the other 4.
Okay, so moving on, the next application is for RPL3, which is located at 49 Wireless Boulevard in the Hauppauge Industrial Park. And the proposal is for the construction of a 123,970 square foot building for warehouse and office use, and a trucking station for 38 trucks with associated site work. Now, The subject site received site plan approval last October to demolish the existing 77,000 square foot industrial building. The applicant has agreed to 9 conditions of site plan approval, most of them standard. This case went to the Board of Zoning Appeals, received all approvals, and this is the proposed site plan. So distribution warehouse, truck loading on the east side of the building, and tractor trailer storage along the east property line. This is the proposed elevations of the building. Does the board have any questions? On the site plan?
Thank you.
Okay, the next application is LG 1995 LLC. The site is located on the south side of Wisconsin Highway, just close to the town boundary of Village of Lake Grove. And the proposal is for the construction of a 5,198 square foot building for retail and food retail use, parking modifications, and facade alterations to the existing building. This is where the Fortune Off and the City MD is located, and they'll be proposing a new building just to the west of it. Not connecting, it'll be connected through a little alleyway with a little pergola between the buildings. And there'll be facade alterations to the existing building as well, so everything will match. These are the proposed elevations. This proposal did go to the Board of Zoning Appeals also, and the applicant has agreed to 7 standard conditions of site plan approval.
And that's a complete renovation of the parking lot also, because it's in total disrepair.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
They'll be renovating the entire parking lot.
Thank you.
Yep. Any questions on this one?
No.
Thank you.
This next application is 6 Cleveland Street. Site is located on the south side of, just southeast corner of Smithtown Boulevard and Cleveland Street. It's a residential use. The proposal is for a legalization of a 780 square foot, 1-story addition and a proposed 237 square foot, 1-story addition. And although it's a single-family use, it's coming as a site plan because it's zoned neighborhood business, and it's a legalization, it's built prior. This is the proposed site plan of the addition and the elevations of the proposed dwelling. Any questions on this proposal?
Good, thank
Okay.
you.
And the final application is 85 Meadow Road West. Subject site's located on the north side of Meadow Road West in Kings Park, just adjacent to the commuter lot on the south side of the railroad. And the proposal is for the construction of a 2,700 square foot, 1-story storage building and associated site work. This application went to the Board of Zoning Appeals as well. The applicant has agreed to 3 conditions of site plan approval. This is the proposed site plan. The building will be built behind, there's an existing building just off Meadow Road, and the applicant will be proposing the building on the north side of the property. One of the conditions of site plan approval is that they make some slight landscaping modifications and provide a little wider landscape island along Meadow Road West to facilitate a street tree. And this is the proposed architecture of the building. It's going to look very similar to the recently built storage building at the Kings Park Fire Department. Any questions on this application?
Is it gonna be are they be attaching themselves to that building that's there right now?
No, it's going to be separate. So you can see, based on the site plan, the existing building is close to Meadow Road West. There'll be
okay.
some parking between
Okay,
the existing building and the proposed building, so completely separate.
all right, thank you.
Very good.
That
No other
concludes site
questions?
plans.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
That completes site plans. These site plans will be voted on at the completion of the meeting. We will convene now as Board of Water Commissioners.
Okay, we have the minutes of January 19th and an agreement with Pace Analytical Services for water quality testing services for the Smithtown and St. James Water District. Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello,
Yes,
Councilwoman Noack,
yes,
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. We'll reconvene as town board.
The first, we have a public hearing. It's for the town board to consider proposed amendments to Chapter 112 of the Town Code entitled Building Construction.
Good afternoon, Supervisor Wareheim, members of the town board. Today's public hearing is being held to consider proposed amendments to Chapter 112, which is the town's building code. Essentially, we'll be adding Section 112.11G, which will waive application fees for government agencies. Is there any questions?
No.
Questions by the board? Does anyone wish to be heard in this public hearing in the audience? No? Okay, I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
We have four public hearings, and advertised for four public hearings, all to be held on February 16th, 2023, at 2 o'clock at Town Hall. The first three are for local laws. The first is Local Law 5, Chapter 177, Solid Waste, 6, Chapter 256, Taxation, 7, Chapter 164, Fire Prevention, and the last is a special exception petition 2023-01 submitted by 295 Oster Avenue for a commercial public recreation building for an outdoor turf sports training area. Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
On consent agenda, we have the controller, number 1 to 7, the resolutions 1 and 2, and the minutes of January 19th.
Does anyone on the town board wish to remove any resolutions from the consent agenda?
No.
No.
Coun- Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
On resolutions, the town board to issue a CEQA negative declaration determination for the reasons stated in a memo from the Environmental Protection Director. All four are for site plan applications. The first is LG 995 LLC. The next is Daniel Hurley for 85 Meadow Road West. The next is RPL 349 Wireless LLC Center. And the last is by Salomon Abraham for 6 Cleveland Street. Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Award the following bids and authorize the purchase of the associated goods or services. Bid 22-116 for Portland cement powder to Elm Transit Mix. 22-117, the annual supply bid for lumber, plywood, and building materials to Cider Lumber Company. 22-110, swimming pool services to Aquatic Dynamics. Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Authorize the town clerk's office to advertise for the following bids. Bid 23-8, bulk delivery of swimming pool chemicals, and 23-9, automotive lubricants. Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
The town board to approve the following: an extension of an intermunicipal agreement with the Incorporated Village of Nissaquag, an extension of the intermunicipal agreement with the Village of the Branch, terminate the agreement with Property Registration Champions doing business as Pro Champs, an extension of agreement with Cornerstone Engineering and Geology for a 1-year term to provide professional services for the Department of Environment and Waterway, ratification of the execution by the town supervisor of an agreement with the Smithtown Administrators Guild regarding the 2023 Voluntary Retirement Incentive Program, and further authorize the supervisor to execute all documents that may be required in connection with the program on a form approved by the town attorney. Change the town board meeting from Thursday, March 23rd at 2 p.m. to Tuesday, March 21st at 7 p.m. right here at the Victor T. List Boardroom. An annual stipend in the amount of $4,000 for Barbara Hoffman per her appointment as Sub-Register of Vital Statistics, retro to January 1st, 2023. Bid 2216 for steel stock with Pennsylvania Steel Company. The next 5 are extension of bids. 2216 for steel stock with Pennsylvania Steel Company. 226 for road marking materials with Ennis Flint Incorporated. 2103 for HVAC maintenance and repair with Accutemp. 22007 for traffic sign materials with Osborne Associates. And 2222 for automotive lubricants with Lubinet LLC. And the last is an extension of an agreement with Michael's Park Dog Training to provide various programs for the animal shelter for a one-year term. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to issue a written consistency determination that application 2023-02 by 300 West Main Street is consistent with the local water revitalization plan per a memorandum from the town planning director. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Woman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the acceptance of a check donation from Christopher Haynes and family in memory of David Ham for $20 and Susan Bonetta in memory of her mom for $50, both to the animal shelter. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the supervisor to execute the following resolutions on a form approved by the town attorney. An agreement with Cataldo Grasso Architects for the construction of 3 separate pavilions at the Hoyt Farm Nature Preserve. An agreement with L.K. McLean Associates for the preparation and submission of monthly reports pertaining to the landfill gas monitoring activities at the Montclair Avenue landfill. An agreement with the Center for Workplace Solutions to provide workplace investigation services. An agreement with the New York State regarding municipal waste reduction and recycling project grants, and to further authorize the supervisor to sign such agreement and related documentation on a form approved by the town attorney. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Approve settlement per the recommendation of the town attorney in franchise for $1,130.87, and Grossman in the amount of $1,000. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
And the last item is personnel matters, number 1 to 4, as described on the agenda. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. That concludes resolutions. We will move to Board of Site Plan for voting on the site plans presented this afternoon.
Okay, on the site plan, we have the minutes of the town board meeting of December 13th, and conditionally approve the following 5 resolutions described by the planning department at the beginning of the meeting. The first is Link Logistics at 60 Motor Parkway. The second is 85 Meadow Road West, LLG 995, RPL 349 Wireless Boulevard, and 6 Cleveland Street in Wisconsin. And the last is to approve the site plan for the Jess Wally property on Lawrence Avenue and Old Northport Road. Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. That concludes site plan for this afternoon. We have speakers? Deputy
Yes.
Clerk? Okay, before we start, public participation is subject to the rules of decorum which you have on your speaker card as per town code section 76.7. The public portion is for town-related matters only. Any unsubstantiated, unverified, or material false information will be interrupted. The 3-minute rule will be strictly enforced. When you hear the tone, you know you have 1 minute to complete your statement. Please give your name and address. Please address the town board.
Okay, the first is John McQuaid.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. My name is John McQuaid. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Nipsaquag River State Park Foundation. We're a friend of the park organization, and I'm here to try to set the record straight on 2 items associated with the sewage treatment basins that are being proposed adjacent to the park and adjacent to Lawrence Road. The first is that there's little opposition. I know we're considered little opposition, the foundation, but Several volunteers in the community have been going around to canvassing the neighborhood, and the vast majority of people, and we're talking about hundreds of residents, were unaware of this proposal. Those that became aware and became educated overwhelmingly didn't support it. There's a lot of opposition. The problem is we haven't really communicated well to the community what these are. And the second item I wanted to talk about is what is it that we're talking about? They've been referred to as leaching fields. Leaching fields are underground plumbing where this effluent or this contaminated water goes to be treated. That's not what's being proposed here. What's being proposed is 2.8 acre pool that's shorn of vegetation, and into it is pumped effluent or contaminated water that's from the sewage treatment plant. And the reason they need this is because it's illegal to pump any more than they're already pumping into the sound. So it's dirty water, it's contaminated. We're proposing putting it within 300 feet of a preschool and 50 feet from a hike and bike path, part of the park, 100 feet next to, within 100 feet of a soccer field. Our kids are going to be playing on a soccer field 100 feet from this. We are not opposed to sewers and developing and building our sewage capacity. We're not opposed to that. It's important. We should do it. This is not a smart place to do it, though. New York State has agreed to sit down with the town and the community to figure out other options. There's a lot of property up there, and we should be able to find an alternate site that's smarter for our residents and for our kids and for our parks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat Bianconello?
It's been a long time, lots of changes here. Pat Bianconello, 175 Oakside Drive, Smithtown, New York. I'm here on behalf of the Nisqually River State Park Foundation. As our president, John McQuaid, alluded to, I am one of the people who have been going door to door in the Kings Park community, asking people their thoughts on the sewer drainage basins. I went out for an hour Sunday and talked to 12 people, 11 of whom signed the letter that we're sending to the governor asking that she not sell the property to the county and to Smithtown to use for drainage basins. There is a myth that there is support for this, and there is a myth that there is no one not supporting it. I believe I saw a quote that said that there's only a few people who are opposed to this. That's not true. We have sent out close to 1,000 letters. I know I've sent out about 600 letters to the governor, signed letters from the community saying, do not do this. So I wish that you would call for a referendum. I know that there's been a referendum in the past on issues, and I think this calls for it. I wish that you would, and I asked you this a year ago, to go out and speak to the public before you propose doing this. I know it wasn't popular amongst the elected officials, and I remember speaking with all of you at the press conference. The public is angry, not only that you're proposing to do this, but that no one has taken the time to speak with them about this. There's very little more that I can say other than I, for one, am angry. Transparency in government is important. Letting the public know what your plans are is very important. This board has failed at that. It has failed, and the only way you know is to go out and talk to the public. Have you heard about this? Absolutely not. Are you in favor of this? No. Why would I be in favor of it? I think that this board needs to reconsider its position, and the board needs to go out and talk to its constituents. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Patty Stoddard? Okay, and the last is Lisa Saramley.
Now we're
people ahead of me that are supposed to speak. Should I just go up there?
I don't have any cards for them.
I sent the card Ma'am, you can come up,
Okay, I
and
just
if there's
didn't
other
want to
cards
go in
there,
front of anybody, because I'm not a resident.
No,
so
it's
I didn't
okay.
want to take their space. you
we'll
know?
make sure everybody else comes up.
Hi. Okay. So thank you for, my name is Lisa Savimli. I'm from Patchogue, New York. I am not a resident here, but this is open meeting, so I understand that I can speak here. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I understand that recently there was a hire of a gentleman named Kevin Smith, who belongs to an organization called Long Island Loud Majority. And the reason why I'm here is because I have some background on this gentleman. And as you said, Mr. Warren, you said that you wanted proof, correct?
Excuse me, I didn't say anything about proof.
You said you wanted factual information, correct?
The only comment I've made on this, so we're clear here, is that we do not comment on personnel matters.
Okay,
These hires are done by the Personnel Department.
Right.
They're vetted by Suffolk County Civil Service,
okay.
and they're undergoing background checks by the Department of Public Safety. So there's been no decision made
Okay.
on this employee until a complete comprehensive background check has been completed and forwarded to the board.
So, all right, that's fine. So what I would like to say is that he has his own platform, as you probably are aware of. And on his own platform, just in the past 2 days, he's been attacking people that have been at a local protest with the Smithtown, complaining about his position on the job. Now, I have here, I don't know if somebody can, is there somebody that can bring this to them, copies? Does anybody can bring this? Because this is actually from his page.
You can hand those to the clerk.
Okay. I don't want to, that's one. So basically, he's here attacking one of your residents on there, which I just included, so that way you can have it and you'll see his name there, where he's telling the person, he's calling him a smart ass on there. And now he's supposed to be representing the town. Now, this is something I want you
You
to.
have 1 minute.
Okay, saw the clock. I went in 2021 when Long Island Loud Majority, which is the organization that he's currently still representing, was holding events at a local warehouse that they were hosting, and they were giving out documentations. I have video, and here's another document. They were handing out Nazi propaganda with Hitler right on the paper. I have the video where it was handed to me from one of their members. He was there, I have the video, and I can forward that to you. So if you are looking to hire somebody that is a neo-Nazi for the town of Smithtown, and with disregards to the residents, then by all means, that's on you. I think it's very conflict of interest when the love interest of this gentleman is your aide. You want to hire him? I think that that's fine. Maybe you need to let go of your aide, so that way he can continue working.
Thank you.
Barbara Caniglio?
Hi, Barbara Caniglio, 1 Columbia Court, Smithtown, New York. Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Caniglio. My family and I moved here in 2013 on account of the reputation of our excellent school district. I attempted to contact each of you up there last week via email about my personal experiences with one of your newly, hired employees, Kevin W. Smith. He was unanimously approved by the town council to be an audiovisual specialist for the Department of Public Safety. Since I am not definite my email was read by any of you, because I never received the reply that I requested, I will quickly summarize what I stated in my email. Number one, Mr. Smith and his partner, Sean Farish, make up the podcasting group Loud Majority US, and their podcasts are widely available for viewing over several social media outlets. They have used their platform on several occasions to ridicule and insult me and make baseless accusations about my character after I wrote a letter to Newsday last year about one of their caravans out east. These insults were very hurtful, and I don't want to repeat them, nor do I want to repeat the awful comments posted by their followers. One of their followers went so far as to dox my address in her comment while suggesting one of their rallies should go past my house. I have printed proof, all right? You guys want to see it. This is a huge safety concern, and if I hadn't intervened to get my address deleted, it probably would still be up there today. Furthermore, I'm not the only Smithtown resident that has been ridiculed and insulted by this duo. Sadly, there are many others in this town. One of the loud majority's more popular topics on their show is negativity towards the transgender community, a group that includes both children and adults, several that live in our community. We have several transgender people living in our community and are already subjected to discrimination and harassment. The trans community does not need any more negative attention toward bathrooms, gender-affirming surgery, or their appearances. Loud Majority was designated by the SPLC as an anti-government extremist group. I asked in my email that I sent you guys why a town government would want to employ an individual associated with such a negative connotation. I'm still waiting for an answer. Furthermore, their show's motto, "We will not comply," is an anti-government attitude and symbolizes defiance against the government, an unsettling motto for a government employee. I was disappointed by the lack of transparency associated with the hiring of Mr. Smith after inquiries have been made via email by Smithtown residents. What qualifications does he possess to be hired for this position? Did other residents who actually live in our community apply to the same position? And if so, why was he hired over these residents? Can this position lead to a full-time position in the future with a 22% salary increase that seems to be so popular lately with the town council? Also, I want to know more about this AV position. Where will he be working? What hours and on what days? Thank you for listening. I look forward to hearing the answers to my questions. I also wanted to just conclude by emphasizing that Mr. Smith and his words and actions have consequences, and as an employee of the town of Smithtown, he represents you, Supervisor Wareheim, and the rest of the town council, whether he is on the clock or off the clock. Decency isn't determined by Mr. Smith's work schedule. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter Hansen? Barbara, can you say your last name slowly? Okay, I did not receive your email.
Okay, I'll send it again. Thank you.
Peter Hansen?
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Hansen, live at 47 Epis Pines Drive in Nesconset. Mayor Daley was asked once what was the major reason that he was reelected time after time as mayor of Chicago. He said he made sure that the garbage was collected, and when it snowed, the snow was taken away. The town of Smithtown is extremely well run. The garbage is picked up. When it snows, the snow gets cleared away very rapidly. The parks are very, very good, well maintained. I've had 2 generations of my sons and then my grandson attending the parks. And with just a little bit of prodding, we finally have shade at Gibbs Pond Park. Thank you. You have a reputation listening to your citizens. I hope you're listening carefully today what the prior speakers have brought up. You welcome input from its citizens. The master plan was well brought out. We all attended meetings. And then about 2 years later, we asked Peter Hans to come to a meeting at the Nesconset Library, and there were at least 150 people there, and he brought us up to date. Great communications. Last Friday was Holocaust Remembrance Day. I can't believe that you're even considering the hiring of a person who is associated with any Nazi party. So I'm asking you, please, to listen and to understand our concern. It's good to see all of you. I haven't been here since the epidemic started, but everybody looks good and healthy. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Hanson, it's also good to see you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all the cards I have.
That's it? No other speakers?
Can I take my turn now?
Did you sign a card?
Yes.
Come on up.
Patty Stoddard?
Okay, I'm Patty Stoddard. I live at 400 Gibbs Pond Road, Nesconset. And I just want to touch on what Barbara said when she was asking about the hours that Kevin Smith is working. Because on Facebook, he specifically said that he is at his podcast store from 8 until 5 every day. So if that's the case, I'm just wondering what his hours are working for the town, at taxpayers' expense. The other thing is, you had mentioned, Mr. Werheim, about civil service check, but there was, seemed to be a conflict of what was said in the local, News 12 and Newsday, because I think Nikki Gargiulo was quoted as saying that Mr. Smith did not have to take a civil service test for a part-time position, yet I think, Ed, you were quoted as saying that he passed a civil service check. So I'm just a little bit confused about that, if maybe you can explain it to us.
Go ahead and finish, and then I'll give you your answers.
Okay, let's see. Well, those are the two issues, that I wanted to just have clarified.
Okay, so first of all, as I said before, so we understand each other, Mr. Smith is not working and is not coming to work for the town of Smithtown until such time as a comprehensive background check is done by the Department of Public Safety. Okay, so we don't know the results of that yet, that's ongoing, and then decision will be made by the town board once that's tendered to us from the Public Safety Department. That's number one. The hours are 17 and a half hours per week, and they're flexible, it's a part-time position. So depending on where we would need an audiovisual specialist, he could work anywhere throughout the town of Smithtown. Could be in parks, could be in beaches, it may be here in the boardroom, it may do interviews, things of that nature. We have some of those very people on the other side of this wall. They run the town board meetings, so we can film them, and they do a myriad of other things. They work out of the Public Safety Department, okay? So the hours are flexible, 17 and a half hours. I don't know what TV show or Channel 12 you're citing. What I said was, and the only thing I said was, when an applicant for any of these positions put a resume and an application to the town of Smithtown, it goes to the Personnel Department. The Personnel Director and Director of Employee Benefits then contact Suffolk County Civil Service. They match up the resume, the experience, and the qualifications necessary for the position, and County Civil Service then lets the town of Smithtown know, yes or no, they fit the bill and they can take the position, or no, they can't because they are not qualified to take it. So that's where we stand with that right now.
I was just confused because it said he was supposed to start on, I think it was January 9th or something like that?
No. The agenda that you referenced, those folks that go on the agenda, they also have a physical, if they're full-time, they're required to get a physical and drug tested. In this case, this will be a public safety employee working under the umbrella, public safety. Those positions go through a background check, complete background check.
Okay.
Excuse me?
What about the questions that I asked?
If you want, after the meeting, if you want to stay, we'll try and get you answers. Okay? Sure.
Okay. Yeah, there's also, you were questioning where you were
Excuse me,
quoted.
what,
Yeah,
is the clock running? Because it's a matter of fairness, Pat, we're not
The
gonna,
clock's off.
this isn't a Q&A all day here.
Okay, then I'll talk to you after.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah, because you had a question about something, and I just wanted to
Okay,
show.
after the meeting is fine.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Angela Fiore?
Hello, my name is Angela Fiore. I'm a resident of this town for 54 years. I'm 86 years of age. I support the previous comments by the three people that have stood here and commented about Kevin Smith. We do not want him representing any part of this government in any fashion, any way.
Thank you.
Peter Chittachimo.
Good afternoon, Peter Chittachimo, 35 Willow Ridge Drive, Smithtown, representing the Smithtown Chronicle. Could you just explain in kind of layman's terms, I'm not familiar with the property, the outdoor training area, 295 Oser Avenue, and the existing building. So can you just explain in layman's terms what's going to take place there when the turf field is built and how it serves the community? 'Cause I'm not familiar with that.
Is this at the
property.
Whitman Hollow Park?
It's the one that we talked about before, the 295 Oser Avenue in Hopog. It's to build a turf sports
The
training
recreation
area.
facility?
Yes,
If you'd stay after the meeting, I'll get you, I think Pete and Liam from planning can explain exactly what that's about.
perfect.
The public hearing is scheduled for February 16th.
Okay. So Pete, give this gentleman all the information, what he needs.
On February 16th, would there be a description, like a?
Yes.
There's more of a discussion, in-depth discussion?
Absolutely.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, I have no other.
No other speakers? Okay, in that case, I will move to close the meeting.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.